When you run rattling old relics, this in a vain hope of keeping costs down, and with youthful naivety coupled to it, Mr. Cockup is only ever a few steps behind you. With the margin between profit and loss, success and failure wafer thin, a mechanical catastrophe could really stick the boot in your flute. Chugging off into the city one morning, with the Dodge thoroughly overloaded with cars, and in truth pretty much on its knees condition-wise by then, I soon had a rude awakening. Changing down for an impending roundabout from fourth to third gears, the stick suddenly went floppy in my hand. Traffic was building all around, and panic started to set in. I mercilessly slipped the clutch, and the old Perkins 6354 dragged the ensemble over the roundabout and up to around 20 odd mile an hour, but I was merely on the edge of a predicament. Before the days of the Hempstead bypass, one had to allow plenty of time for crawling nose to tail through the city traffic in order to access the docks and surrounding industrial estates. Not an ideal place, then, to coax an overloaded lorry that was disabled without incident. By the time I arrived in the yard's weighbridge, I could not only smell the clutch burning, but also see the white smoke pouring from under the lorry. I explained my woes to old Harold, the yard's crane driver, he with the wonky eye. Closer inspection of the gear stick revealed it had sheared off the main pin in the linkage. Once suitably cooled down, and now at least with the lorry empty, I repeated the same clutch slipping trick to get out of the city and then progressed slug-like back to my yard. Upon arriving home, I noticed Uncle Percy's black Datsun Cherry was in attendance, and amid much mutual head scratching, we ripped off the remains of the rotted out gear stick gaiter, tipped the cab, and then Percy welded the sheared pin to keep the stick back in place. Job done. Well, sort of. The 5-speed box on the Dodge had a dog leg first, which now could not be engaged. Somehow we had managed to weld it slightly on the piss. No matter. It was more of a crawler gear anyway, and from then until the end of my tenure with the lorry, I just started off in second instead. A byproduct of this incident resulted in the unfortunate demise of my old Sony Walkman. Several weeks later, there I was, rumbling along, listening to my favourite Saw Doctor's cassette, this being the only entertainment available in that truck, unless you wanted to sit there going deaf from the sound of the engine. Suddenly, the personal stereo mentioned vibrated off the seat just as I changed gear. With no gaiter fitted now after the welding up incident, the whole device dropped down through the gear change hole and onto the road, leaving me humming along to myself with nothing really but some dangling headphone wires. Years before all this, and with a few very quiet weeks just coming to an end, I was down at a different scrapyard, this in the Bedford TK. Despite the paucity of work, I had managed to scrape together a load, this including an old red Ford Cortina Mark V estate, which I'd collected with my mate Beef on a long rope and the Fordson tractor. Pleased to finally be in line for making a few quid, I shunted the lorry backwards in the yard, ready to unload, only to then hear a loud crunch. Jumping down and running to the rear of the Bedford, I gawped open-mouthed at the now smashed backlights on the truck. This costly mess inflicted by a pile of washing machines I had not spotted in the mirrors. All profit gone right there. A quick pause now just to ask, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Just click the button. We're heading towards the 1,000 subscribers and it'd be great to hit that mark. So if you could please, hit subscribe now if you've genuinely enjoyed the video. More to come. Okay, cheers. With a different lorry came a different kind of disaster. I'd been up most of the night with a bad stomach. Morning duly arrived, but I was still feeling dog rough. By lunchtime, the jollop I had forced down seemed to be working, and I decided to chance taking the old Iveco and its 2-car load into Leominster Breaker's yard. By the time I was halfway to my destination, all that shaking and bouncing had done very little to improve the cramps in my guts. All things of a physical discomfort were suddenly usurped by the lack of response from the Iveco whenever the throttle was pressed. The lorry was still running, this when we coasted to a standstill on a very unhelpful blind bend. But no matter how I pressed that pedal, the lorry's engine speed did not waver. Starting to sweat now, and with a desperate urge to find a hedge to squat behind, I ripped off the engine cover and discovered that the rod from the injector pump linking the throttle was missing in action. My arm wasn't long enough to pull on it and drive, but I'd have to have my head stuck down in the footwell, so this wasn't going to work. I found a bit of hairy string, wrapped it round the pump of my hand. Changing gear was a bloody menace, but I did manage to find a lay-by to park in, and a quick personal unload in a farmer's field had me heading off to my destination. The 30-mile return journey was undertaken with my hastily constructed hairy string hand throttle. Late to collect the other blokes from a pub, we were on our way supposedly to a young farmer's disco one Friday evening in '95. I leapt into the Ford Cortina Mark II and reversed rapidly before grabbing the driver's door it shut in time. This promptly got involved with the yard's gate post, bending the door round backwards and smashing the glass with a loud crash. The next 6 months were endured with a flapping piece of clear plastic taped in place. Summer 1994, and I was loaded up in the Bedford CF 1973 truck. I was going to call in at our house on the estate for some lunch prior to heading into the city to tip the load. Swinging into the turn down the estate road, there was a loud thump, and the lorry veered towards the pavement. Climbing down and standing in front of the truck, it now looked like it had developed rickets. Such was the bandy-legged posture of the left front wheel. Upon crawling underneath, I could see a wishbone bolt had sheared off, and the assembly had broken away from its mounting. Luckily, I just strolled down the estate and returned dragging my trolley jack and a handful of tools to fix the hastily grabbed replacement bolt in place. Imagine if it had sheared off at speed whilst fully loaded. I could continue with various stories and nightmares about mechanical woes, but you all know the score yourselves if you ever ran a business on a tight budget back in those days, now so very, very long ago. The next 6 months were endured with a flapping piece of clear Palestine. Palestine? Fucking hell, we ain't going there, are we? Hello there. Thank you for watching my video. If you've enjoyed this one, and I hope you did, then please like, share and subscribe, as it does help and it means a lot. If you'd like to have some bits and pieces from the merchandise shop, then go to andyourpointis.tmail.com. I'll put the address up now and you can see where to get these bits and pieces. But all the best to you and take care.